Hey there, you fabulous folks. I hope your day has been absolutely awesome. We're back for another exciting episode of What If Naruto Was the Conqueror of the Shinobi World. A big shout out to the amazing author behind this fanfiction and show them some love. You'll find their details in the description box below. If this what if scenario is getting your imagination going, drop a comment down below and share your thoughts. And don't forget to explore more mind-blowing what ifs on the channel. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right into this video. Team 10 walked inside the academy. The place was buzzing with people. The team pushed through the crowd of shinobi from all over the world, except Kiri, since the civil war was still going on there. The blonde made a mental note to avoid the shinobi from Iwa for now, not that he was afraid of them. Still, he needed to avoid conflict. He knew he was a copy of his father, and everyone from Iwa would probably see the fourth Hokage on him. How Konoha's citizens still hadn't figured it out, yet baffled him. Walking to the second floor, they knew they needed to reach room 301. Once they reached the second floor, they were confused to see a crowd of shinobi waiting there, trying to reach a door, with two guards standing at the door blocking the entrance. Naruto recognized them as the eternal guards of the gate. Did they not know how to count? Shikamaru asked no one in particular. He noticed that room 201 had the number 301, probably a weak jutsu to fool those that were stupid enough not to figure it out. They are probably too excited for the upcoming exams that they are not noticing they are only on the second floor, Ino figured. She knew from her lessons from her father how certain emotions can impact any person, and a Yamanaka like her needed to know everything when it comes to emotions due to her family jutsu. Let's just leave then, we shouldn't waste our time, Shikamaru said with a bored look. Team 10 was about to walk upstairs when they heard a loud voice. Hey, drop this genjutsu. This is only the second floor, a voice boasted, a voice Team 10 knew a bit too well. That stupid son of a. His words trailed off, turning around to see none other but Team 7, Sasuke in the front, Sakura beside him with hearts in her eyes, Choji just eating chips. Hearing what the Chi had just said, every genin around them was confused before looking at the number on the door changing from 301 to 201. So you saw through our genjutsu, the first guard said, unimpressed, a grimace on his face. Sasuke chooses that moment to smirk arrogantly, according to Sakura, making him look even more dangerous and handsome. Sasuke is so cool, Sakura thought, drooling from her mouth. Meanwhile, Choji left out a tired sigh. What you wouldn't give to be on the same team as Shikamaru. Hey, baby dick, what the hell do you think you're doing? Naruto questioned him coldly, his presence alone making many genins step back. The eternal guard smiled in satisfaction when they saw their favorite blonde. Sasuke turned around to see Naruto with his team walking up to him. The Uchiha was about to say something when Naruto cut him off. That genjutsu was specifically put there to remove those that aren't ready yet, those who couldn't see through a simple genjutsu, making it easier for the rest until you decide to stroke your ego, Naruto spoke, unimpressed by the whole thing. Some of them could quickly die in this exam. Sasuke frowned with clenched teeth, realizing his mistake, but not stating out loud that would be the last thing he wanted. Choji, how are you doing? Shikamaru greeted his friend with a handshake. Choji smiled, seeing Shika, Naruto, and even Ino again. Good to see you guys. He greeted them back and even offered chips to them. Only Shikamaru accepted, since Ino was busy paying attention to a certain genin who was glaring at her boyfriend. That changes nothing, they are all weaklings. I will defeat them in no time, Sasuke countered dismissively with a wave of his hand. It didn't matter, after all, one more weakling, 100 more would change nothing. He was strong enough, since he unlocked his Sharingan. Kakashi Sensei had been paying extra attention to him, since he was the only one who could train him on how to use it. Naruto thought of perhaps saying something but decided to ignore the fool. If he wanted to play ninja and not take things seriously, then let him do that. So you're here too, a voice that made both teams turn their heads, seeing two Konoha shinobi walking up to them. The blonde recognized the first one as the angry Hyuga shinobi from the restaurant. He didn't recognize the second one. The second one has dark brown hair and eyes, and wears her hair in two Chinese-style buns on her head with short fringe bangs framing her face. She wears a pink sleeveless kipao-style blouse with red sleeve trimmings and yellow fastening buttons and dark green pants. A pouch is adjusted to her thigh, and her forehead protector and sandals are both blue. What do you want, Hyuga, or are you still sour about what happened in the restaurant? Naruto taunted him. His words confused Team 7, while his teammates knew what he was talking about, since Naruto told them what happened back at the restaurant with the Hyuga and Kumo Shinobis. Neji frowned, his knuckles turning, getting a worried look from Tenten, who knew Neji usually kept his emotions in check. Why did you defend those Kumo scums? After they tried to kidnap one of us. Personally, Neji cared little about Hinata. To him, she was just a scared little girl who had no business being a shinobi, someone who gets frightened by her own shadow. They're not responsible for what the Kage did, and I know what they did just as good as you, or do you not know? Naruto said, his eyes turning ice cold. He wouldn't allow someone like him to insult Yujito and Guy Sensei. They were friends and fellow Jinchuriki just like him. Neji frowned, his eyes narrowing, his kai making the atmosphere cold. He thought of perhaps doing something. Still, he knew who Naruto was. His muscles relaxed. The blonde had expected for the Hyuga to try and strike, but instead, his kai almost faded away. Neji looked at the blonde, wondering whenever to teach him a lesson, but eventually, to not do anything. It doesn't matter. Fate has chosen me as the winner. He can't do anything to change that, he concluded with resolve. He didn't want to waste his time bickering with little kids. Whatever you say, I will have my turn with them during the exams. Fate has chosen me, winner, Neji said dismissively before turning to Tenten. Where's left? Before he could finish, a sudden kick was directed right at the blonde Uzumaki, who blocked the kick with his arms, causing a gust of wind to spread around, and the concrete under his feet cracked slightly. Quite the strength. Who's this guy? Naruto thought, impressed, pushing the leg away. Everyone else could see the newcomer, horrifying all of them with his ridiculous clothes. Standing in front of Team 10 and Team 7 was what could be described as a nightmare, especially to Ino and Sakura. Shikamaru simply raised an eyebrow, confused more than anything. Choji was busy eating chips, and Sasuke, his eyes narrowed. He could tell that kick was strong, despite Naruto being the one who blocked it. He was wearing a green spandex suit that covered from toe to neck, a pair of thickest eyebrows they had ever seen, with the strangest hairstyle they had ever seen. What the hell are you? Naruto questioned what everyone was thinking, even Sasuke wondering if the genin in front of them was someone who escaped from a mental hospital. My name is Rock Lee of the Hidden Leaf, he introduced himself, giving them a thumbs up with a broad smile, his teeth sparkling for a bit like a star in the night. Are those things alive? Naruto seriously questioned, pointing at his thick eyebrows. Instead of answering, Lee ignored his question before pointing his index finger toward Naruto. I want to challenge you, he announced before moving his finger to the girl standing behind the blonde. For your girlfriend, Lee challenged while pointing at a horrifying Sakura. The blonde rolled his eyes. A girl like Sakura didn't have anything to make her seem attractive. Dude, she's not my girlfriend. I'm not interested in a flat board with the personality of a corpse, Naruto said with a deadpan look before putting his arm around Ino's waist, bringing her close to him, making the message clear to Lee. He nodded in understanding. What do you mean flat board? Sakura screeched with sharp teeth, trying to look menacing to the blonde, but he simply ignored her. I see, but I still want to fight you, Lee said, looking at the blonde before turning to the pink-haired beauty, who quickly realized the strange creature was looking at her. She ran behind Choji. Lee sent her a wink that made her scream in horror. Guys, we are leaving. Good luck with your boyfriend Sakura, Ino said teasingly at Sakura, who glared at her former friend. Sasuke decided to follow them, soon followed by Sakura and Choji. Later, they were walking through a balcony that viewed down a wide room, big enough to fight. Shikamaru was having a conversation with Choji about how he was doing, if he liked the team, if he had trained for the exams, that kind of stuff, when they were interrupted by the weird-looking creature. Stop right there, Lee shouted, landing right in front of Naruto, who put his hands behind his head, eyeing Lee up and down. Naruto, Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Choji looked confused, as Ino simply looked indifferent, while Sakura was gasping in shock at the weird-looking boy who offered to be her boyfriend earlier. What do you want? Naruto asked. I want to fight. Right here, right now, Lee said as he jumped down from the balcony and set himself in his fighting stance. Why do you want to fight me? I have heard about your combat skills. Everyone mentions your name around the village. I want to know how good you are, Lee said, showing he didn't want to back down. We really should be going. The exam is about to start soon. Naruto informed calmly. This will only take a minute. Unless you are too scared. Lee was trying to bait the blonde, but was failing miserably due to his maturity. What do I look like, 5 to you? Naruto asked with a deadpan look. It's alright, I will fight him, Sasuke suddenly said confidently, making everyone look at him, Sakura with concern. But, Sasuke-kun, the exam is about to start. Sakura tried to make him change his mind, but failed miserably. Like he said, this will only take a minute. Besides, I'm curious to see what he can do, Sasuke said with a confident smirk. Hanachiha, this is the second best bet I will get, Lee said as he prepares himself for battle. Excellent. He may not be Naruto-san, but Sasuke-san is also Rookie of the Year. A matchup against him can still prove my point. I will draw him out and get him to reveal his technique, and I will prove myself to you, Guy Sensei. Lee thought. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Any longer, and I'll stop the fight, Naruto informed with a serious tone. Humph, I'll only need one, Sasuke said, as he then charged toward Lee. Here he comes. Forgive me, Guy Sensei. I know it is forbidden, but I may have to break the rules and use that jutsu, Lee thought. Lee disappeared in a blur and reappeared above Sasuke. Lee for king. Lee yelled out as he performed a powerful spin kick. Sasuke manages to dodge, but Lee continues his relentless assault. Shit. I'm not moving fast enough. I gotta block him, Sasuke thought as he used his arm to block the incoming kick to his face, but suddenly, Lee managed to get past his defense, and land a strong kick on the Uchiha's cheek, sending him flying. Sasuke-kun. Sakura yelled out worriedly. Sasuke then landed roughly on the ground. He immediately stood back up and wiped the blood from his mouth as he gritted his teeth in frustration. What the hell was that? Sasuke thought, confused since he knew he should have blocked that kick. Nonetheless, this might be an excellent opportunity to test my Sharingan again, Sasuke thought as he stood back up and activated his Tsutomu Sharingan. So that is the Sharingan. I must make sure not to look into his eyes. Lee thought to himself. Ninjutsu or ninjutsu, whatever jutsu he's using, I'll see it now. Sasuke thought as he focused his Sharingan on Lee's movements and charged forward. As he was about a foot away from the boy in green, to everyone's surprise, Sasuke was suddenly kicked in the jaw by Lee, sending him up high in the air. Holy shit. Shikamaru thought in surprise since that kick came out of nowhere. Sasuke managed to land on his feet but was now holding his jaw in pain. You see, my technique is not ninjutsu or genjutsu, Lee said, as he then charged forward in an incredible display of speed. Lee and Sasuke are now locked in fast-paced hand-to-hand combat. Even with the power to see through and predict his enemy's attacks, Lee's movements are still too fast against Sasuke's reaction time. You get it now? I am only using taijutsu. That means there are no tricks for you to copy, Sasuke-san. Lee said, as he then disappeared and reappeared behind Sasuke. It is just straight-up martial arts, nothing more, Lee informed. Why you, Sasuke angrily said, as he tried to swing a backhand at the boy in green, but he immediately jumped away. I know your technique. So forget it. It will not work, not on me. I know you can see through your opponent's jutsu. That Sharingan gives you the ability to read their chakra and decipher their hand seals and movements. You can guess what your opponent is going to do, almost before they know themselves. Lee said, causing Sasuke to narrow his eyes. But the problem is, taijutsu is a little bit different, Lee informed. Right. So what's your point? Sasuke asked. I do not try to hide or disguise my moves. I do not have to. Even if you can read them, you still cannot stop them. You are too slow. Lee mocked. Sasuke growls at the comment. Your eyes may be quick enough to stay one step ahead of me, but if your body cannot keep up, what good does it do you? Lee continues to mock. This made Sasuke growl again. You know what? Here is what I believe. There are two different kinds of ninja, those like you who are born with talent and do not have to work at it. That was the tipping point for the Uchiha. People always assume that he never had to work hard his entire life, just because he was slightly talented. But he has been training his ass off so that he can be as good as Itachi in Naruto. You son of bitch. Sasuke shouted as he charged forward, trying to land a strong punch on the ignorant boy in green. And those like me, the ones who have to train every day of our lives. Lee finished, which made Sasuke grit his teeth even more. Shut up. Sasuke yelled as he tried to land a strong punch, but fatally missed. Fact is, your Sharingan is the worst match for my extreme taijutsu. And here is what I mean. Lee yelled out as he was practically focusing his chakra into his leg. Shit. Sasuke thought. Lee then kicked Sasuke in the jaw once more, sending him up high in the air. Lee then proceeded to crouch down on all fours and disappear in a blur of speed, and later reappearing behind Sasuke, midair. Dancing Leaf Shadow, Sasuke said as he recognized one of Konoha's greatest taijutsu techniques. Good, now I will prove my point, Lee said as he undid the bandages on his arms. That hard work beats natural talent, Lee said with a serious tone. Damn it, what's he gonna do? Sasuke thought, slightly worried. You finished, Lee declared. As Lee was about to use his ultimate technique on the Uchiha, his eyes widened when he felt something metallic wrapping around his waist. It was some sort of chain, but it was made of chakra. He looked down and saw that the chakra chain was coming from Naruto's sleeve. The 5 minutes are up, Naruto coldly said as he forcefully pulled Lee down by the chakra chain and slamming him into the ground, making a small crater. And you talk too much, Naruto finished, as he recalled the chakra chain back into his sleeve. Sakura managed to catch Sasuke before he hits the ground. Ino was truly surprised to see the chakra chain that manifested from her boyfriend's wrist. She remembered that Naruto once mentioned them to her when he was reading the scrolls that he got from the Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple. Suddenly from a burst of smoke, a large red turtle appeared. Alright. That's enough, Lee. The turtle yelled out. Yes, Sir. Lee got up from the crater and was now kneeling before the turtle. Everyone was a little surprised to see a talking turtle, and was even more surprised to see the turtle scolding the boy in green. Who is that turtle? Ino asked, with a raised eyebrow. I'll do you one better. What is that, turtle? Shikamaru added in. I'll do you one better. Why is that turtle? Choji added in. Ino and Shikamaru simply stare at Choji with a deadpan look after he asks that dumb question. With Rock Lee and the weird turtle. Lee was now bowing his head in shame before the grumpy turtle. You were watching us the whole time? Lee asked hesitantly. Of course. That last technique is forbidden. You know that. The turtle continues to scold the bushy-brow boy. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to, Lee said as his gaze was still on the floor, but when he looked up, he saw the turtle giving him a death glare, which terrified the bushy-brow boy. I was not planning to use a forbidden jutsu. It is just, I was in the middle of a fight, and I mean, you understand. You are a disgrace. The turtle yelled, causing Lee to groan. You think you'll get away with a bunch of lame excuses like that? A shinobi never reveals his technique unless it's absolutely necessary. It's such a basic rule, you should know it by now. The turtle scolded. Forgive me, sir. Lee apologized. Naruto. Well, like someone I recently met once told me, appearances can be deceiving, Naruto said as he recalled what Fu said to him. Even the smallest cup has the biggest bite. Are you prepared to take the punishment for your actions? The turtle asked. Yes, sir, Lee answered hesitantly. Alright then. Come out, Guy Sensei. The turtle called. And from a burst of smoke, standing on top of the turtle's shell is practically an older version of Lee. The difference was that he was wearing an open jonin vest, no bandages on his arms, and hell, he has bushier eyebrows. Lee, are you ready for your punishment? The jonin exclaimed, pointing his index finger at his student. What the hell is going on? Shikamaru wondered out loud. This isn't how he thought a jonin should look like. If he didn't know any better, he would believe both of them were part of a circus. Yes, Guy Sensei, Lee exclaimed passionately, anime tears streaming down his cheeks like waterfalls. Ino briefly wondered where all the water was going. You will have to climb the Hokage mountain 100 times with your bare hands, holding 200 kilograms in your legs, without resting, Guy ordered, pointing an index finger at Lee. The others were baffled and somehow felt bad for the genin. That kind of punishment was insane, even more than wearing a green spandex suit. Yes, Guy Sensei. Lee. Guy Sensei. Lee. Hugging each other while crying, there was suddenly a perfect beach behind them, with waves, sand, and everything. Ah, what is going on? Ino screamed in horror, trying to break the curse genjutsu, but nothing was working. Shikamaru simply closed his eyes. Sasuke regretted having his Sharingan on. He prayed to God he didn't copy their craziness. Sakura screamed in horror before hiding behind Choji, the latter looking at her confused, not understanding the problem. Kurama, what the hell is this? Naruto mentally screamed, trying to break the genjutsu, but to no avail. Close your eyes, before we are both dead, Kurama screamed at the horror they were witnessing. Thank the gods, the S-rank genjutsu quickly ended before any of them suffered any permanent brain damage. Sighing in relief, the others felt relaxed. Who are you? Ino asked, now that the situation has calmed down. Guy turned to the two genin teams, a grin on his face, before making a strange pose, his thumb pointed at his face. My name is Guy, the jonin of Team 9 of Konoha, he introduced himself, and just like Lee, a sudden spark on his white shining teeth like stars. You must be Kakashi and Asuma's team. Guy asked, but more like a statement, his eyes finding the blonde one, knowing from Asuma's words that he was his strongest genin. You know our sensei? Shikamaru asked, somehow confused. Asuma never told them he knew an overdose jonin like him. Yup, both of them, especially Kakashi, me and him are rivals from way back. Right now, I'm winning. Our result is 50-49 wins for me, Guy explained. Team 7 didn't really think he was telling the truth, except Naruto and Shikamaru, who could tell the jonin was extremely strong. At Asuma and I know each other through our jobs, Guy suddenly added, standing behind the two genin teams. Everyone except Naruto was taken aback. He's fast, even faster than Naruto, Shikamaru thought, surprise, only now turning around to face him again. Naruto felt a sudden shiver in his body. It had been some time since he was in the presence of someone so strong. You know you could use your Susanoo if you fight him, Kurama suddenly spoke in his head, not getting why Naruto thought that jonin guy was too powerful. Don't underestimate him, he knows how to open all inner gates. He is very dangerous with just 7 gates. If he opened the 8th one, he would wipe the floor with me, Naruto warned him. The blonde knew the amount of power the 8 gates granted the person who used them in exchange for their own life. If someone like Guy opened them, he could easily defeat all 9-tailed beasts combined without much trouble. Really, he never said anything about you? Ino asked with skepticism after getting over the fact that this ridiculous-looking man was more powerful than Asuma-sensei. Haha, usually these days he's busier with a dark-haired beauty. Telling you about me is the last thing he's worried about, Guy replied before turning to Lee. What are you still doing here, Lee? I told you to climb the Hokage mountain 100 times, he exclaimed, making Lee straighten up. The green boy was about to rush outside just as Guy ordered him when. Ah, the Chunin exams start within 10 minutes. He will be late, Shikamaru said with a deadpan look, stopping the overdose kid dead in his tracks. Right? Lee, you're free for now, but after the exam, I expect 1,000 climb up and climb down, Guy exclaimed, with Lee letting out a yes sir. Ino, Shika, Naruto suddenly called his friends, who followed the blonde to room 301. Seeing them walk away, Guy smiled in anticipation. It seemed the Chunin exams were full of youthful energy this year. Team 10. Asuma-sensei Ino called him confused, seeing him standing in front of the door, his hands in his pockets, a cigarette in his mouth. Inhaling on it, he picked it with 2 fingers before addressing his team with an authoritative tone. It seems all of you made it, good. I thought I would need to escort you outside in case Shikamaru was still sleeping. Wait, you mean we wouldn't be able to enter if any of us wasn't here? Ino asked. From what she understood, that was what he was implying. Indeed, I would have personally kicked you outside through the main door, Asuma explained with a grin before his face turned into a more serious one. Once you enter this door, there's no going back. I know you will succeed. I'm not here to ask you to walk away. All I can say is, he inhaled deeply, his genin waiting in anticipation, wondering what he would say. Win the Chunin exam because I have bet all of my savings on your success, Asuma exclaimed with dollar signs on his eyes. His team had huge sweat drops on their foreheads with deadpan looks on their faces, and Ino could have sworn she heard a crow flying around and calling them stupid. What a model to follow, Shikamaru murmured under his breath, earning a chuckle from his teammates. Anyway, good luck, Asami said before disappearing into a puff of smoke. Team 10 said nothing but walked up to the door, his hand on the handle. The blonde looked back at his friends, who nodded at him with confidence. Time to kick ass, he exclaimed before opening the door. Naruto. His team walked inside the room, and they were immediately blasted by multi-killing intent. Every genin there releasing their Kai, trying to look intimidating. Ino and Shika weren't strangers to powerful Kai, especially after being in the same place as someone like Hidan and Kakuzu. Shikamaru yawned, bored already, but felt a slight weight around his body. While Naruto just looked bored, a smirk slowly made his way to his face, and he took a step forward. How about we give these people a taste of their own medicine? Naruto asked Kurama, who smirked slyly. Let's see how many won't pass out, Kurama replied menacingly. After saying that, Naruto released a full blast of Kai, causing the concrete and every desk in the room to start creaking, small cracks forming on the surface. You call this culling intent? My grandma can do better than this, Naruto stated loudly to everyone, and released half of his Kai, taking almost everyone by surprise. From the added Kai, many started feeling dizzy before falling unconscious immediately. Their eyes almost popped out from their eye sockets, and their face turned pale, but Naruto noticed a few groups that didn't look affected or less than the others. His senses spread and found the Shikaku Jinchuriki glaring at him, but keeping his Kai in check. His siblings looked pale and were shaking, but Naruto wasn't sure if it was because of Himagare. The way his fellow Jinchuriki was eyeing him, he knew he was already on his hit list. His senses found the Kumo teams, amongst them was Matatabi Jinchuriki. Yujiro had her eyes on him, a light blush on her cheeks, her tongue licking her red strawberry lips, wetting them. Her legs were slightly crossed, and her eyes almost looked like Matatabi's eyes. Samui glanced briefly at him, but mainly kept a stern look in her eyes. It seemed she knew when to act professional. She kind of reminded Naruto of Anko when she was working, and by working means torture. Naruto's senses found Fu's team, she and her teammates. Fu's eyes found his, her eyes brightening up like a fire. But then Naruto focused on the Iwa team across the room, who looked almost wanting to blend in the background and not be noticed. The blonde saw a girl with pink eyes and short dark hair. From the whole team, she looked like the only competent one. Her eyes were scanning everyone in the room. The blonde noticed she would pause briefly whenever she found someone interesting, and one of them was Naruto. His eyes found a group of sound shinobi from the new village. None of them looked impressive, except they had strange devices attached to their arms and palms. Naruto wondered where that village came from. He had never heard of it. He figured someone was making some kind of play in the background. He soon decided to figure out as soon as possible whether or not Konoha was the target. His senses found a group from Rain Village. One of the girls was holding an angel-like figure made out of paper, which Naruto found a bit odd. But Naruto's eyes widened when he checked another group from Grass Village. Two of them had an enormous amount of chakra, especially one of them, and his malice was beyond what Naruto had ever felt before. Even a psychopath like Hidan didn't have that level of malice. His chakra level was easily S-rank level, and the one next to him had much fewer malice tendencies, but his chakra level was elite Jonin level, or maybe even low S-rank. The blonde knew the Akatsuki was after him, but he doubted they would risk being seen, not to mention that his big brother would have informed him if they would try to infiltrate the Chunin exams. So we have two threats, one of them is strong, and the other is weaker. I wonder if I should just kill them during the exam. The girl with pink eyes is an Iwa shinobi, and her chakra level is low Jonin. Should I kill her? Or maybe find a way to make some kind of alliance with them. Iwa might hate my guts, but perhaps there's a different way, rather than just forcing them to comply, he thought, deciding to deal with Iwa later. When the time came, they would either comply and accept him as the ruler, or he would stomp on them like ants. Naruto's senses detected two teams of emotionless shinobi standing at the far left corner of the room. They had no emotions in their body. Naruto wondered what Danzo wanted, perhaps trying to capture him or anyone from other villages or eliminate them. But Naruto detected that one of them had no chakra. At that moment, the blonde felt a slight shiver in his body. This guy could hide his chakra even from him, and he hid his emotions, making it useless to try and detect him through emotions. Kurama, how is this possible? Naruto mentally asked, since even the likes of Jiraiya couldn't hide from him, unless this shinobi used a different type of chakra he couldn't detect. I don't know, Naruto. Your Uzumaki senses are already too good, and me enhancing them should have made it almost impossible for anyone to hide, Kurama replied, just as irritated and confused. The demon fox, of course, knew a couple of shinobi throughout history that would be able to hide even from Naruto's senses like Hashirama Senju, Roku Uzumaki, Arthur Uzumaki, Kenji the fire breather Uzumaki, and Urukihime and his own father, Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Naruto's attention then went to the second group from Sound Village. He could feel another Uzumaki, making him pause immediately. His eyes widened, and a smile erupted on his face. His eyes glanced to the far right side of the room, the girl with red hair wearing glasses standing a bit away from her teammates, but her eyes were glancing at him every now and then. Naruto wondered if he could talk to her later. Having a pure-blood Uzumaki like her could be quite beneficial. If Uzumaki clan hadn't been all about peace, they could have easily conquered the whole world a long time ago. They were the only clan that could use Fuinjutsu of level X or above. Their Kenjutsu was an entirely new level, able to cut down mountains with a single swing of their swords. Just as Naruto started formulating a plan to talk to her during the Forest of Death. Naruto-kun, her arms around his neck from behind, her blonde hair covering his right shoulder, as she rubbed her cheek against his face. Naruto couldn't help but blush at the feeling of her soft breasts against his back. And a sensation was growing on his pants. Ah, Ino-chan, what are you doing? Naruto questioned awkwardly, knowing many in the room were looking at them. Usually, he wouldn't mind having her this close, but they were in a room full of people. Hi, Naruto, how have you been? Kiba asked, walking towards them, followed by Shino and Hinata, who was looking down, playing with her fingers. Shino, how are you doing? Naruto questioned the stoic-looking guy, completely ignoring Kiba, much to his annoyance. Shino just shrugged his shoulders, not really that focused on the exams, while Kiba had grown a dangerous tick on his forehead. We are kind of ready, if you ask me. We should have waited until the following year. I have no doubt you will succeed, Naruto, Shino replied, adjusting his glasses. What about us, Shino? Kiba questioned, pointing at himself and Hinata, who was looking at Ino, still holding Naruto close. Shino gave him a brief glance. As I said, I have no doubts that Naruto will succeed, he repeated with his no bullshit kind of tone. Kiba growled in annoyance. Why couldn't Shino be more positive with him? Ignoring his teammate, Kiba turned to Naruto, a smirk growing on his face. We will soon have our rematch, Naruto. Better be ready, Kiba said with a slightly high voice, trying to challenge the blonde, but Naruto thought he sounded ridiculous. Naruto-kun, Hinata nervously said as she played with her finger, her face as red as a tomato. She saw Ino rubbing herself on Naruto's back like a rabbit in heat, her eyes slightly twitching at the bold blonde, despite knowing she was his girlfriend, and had every right to act like that. Naruto sighed quietly that Hinata still hadn't moved on from her crush. He hoped she at least had trained in taijutsu or maybe ninjutsu. His attention turned back to Kiba. No offense, dog breath, but you wouldn't be much of a challenge, Naruto stated with a sly grin on his face. Kiba's face turned red from anger. Why is that sunflower? Kiba demanded with clenched teeth, taking a step closer, completely ignoring the barks of Akamaru, telling him not to mess with Naruto and get them in trouble before the exams even started. Because Naruto is the strongest one of us, and you, Kiba, stand absolutely no chance, Shino stated with his usual nothing but spitting facts kind of tone. Kiba turned to Shino, growling like a dog. Hey, you taking his side now, he barked angrily before their discussion could escalate further. How are you doing, Naruto-kun? Everyone turned to see Fu arriving, her teammates not following her, her usual cute smile on her face. Fu-chan, is good to see you again, Naruto said warmly, something that Hinata noticed. The Hyuga heiress couldn't help but notice the warm and soft tone Naruto used when he talked with the new girl. She wondered who she was. Ino grunted in annoyance, another cute girl that had fallen head over heels, but she couldn't deny that Fu was cute and pretty, and her smell was quite pleasant. Damn you, Anko-chan, Ino cried anime tears. She blamed the incredibly sexy busty snake mistress for this, especially how she had make out with her. Sasuke noticed Fu and wondered how strong she was. If she were anything like Naruto, he wouldn't be surprised if she was a much better kunoichi than a certain pink-haired girl. Good to see you, Fu-san, Shikamaru greeted the young Jinchuriki, who smiled in appreciation. Good to see you again, friend Shikamaru, she greeted him before saying hello to Ino, who, despite feeling slightly jealous, said hello to her. Ready for the exams, Fu-chan? Yup, except my teammates. I'm afraid you made them wet their pants when you walked in, she explained, pointing at her teammates who looked down in shame, same for many around the room. Wow, who's the cute girl? Kiba asked, leaning a bit closer, eyeing her up and down. Fu didn't return the affection. A butterfly flew on her hand, something that was noticed by Shino, who actually raised an eyebrow, surprised. Name's Fu, every friend of Naruto is my friend, she introduced herself, patting the butterfly softly not to crush her accidentally. In another corner, Team Guy was looking at the exchange between Naruto and a strange girl from Taki. Lee had to admit that Naruto had quite a good taste for women, while Neji narrowed his eyes. Just the thought of her angered him, let alone seeing her here, but in the end, it wouldn't matter, the fate had chosen him the winner. What are you doing here, Hinata? If you're here to shame yourself, then you're doing quite a good job at it, Neji thought, disgusted at the way Hinata was standing. Instead of showing power, she was standing in the background as if she was mere decorations, and not the heiress of the Hyuga clan, the strongest clan of Konoha. While this was happening, a certain red-haired girl couldn't keep her eyes away from the Konoha teams talking together. She knew her senses weren't lying to her, but she still couldn't believe that there were more Uzumaki in the world. Her eyes instinctively glanced in the direction of her master, but immediately moved her eyes away. The cold shiver spread in her entire body, crawling in her skin like an army of ants, and her throat felt as dry as the deserts of Suna. Despite seeing them, she couldn't believe it, but Orochimaru-sama said there were no other Uzumaki. She reminded herself, did her master lied? She quickly shook her head in denial. No, Orochimaru-sama would never do this, she told herself repeatedly. Her hand touched the curse mark on her left shoulder, close to her neck. The curse mark looked like chains coming together, forming a whirlpool-looking symbol. Karen turned to look at the Uzumaki again, and wondered if she could just go over there and introduce herself as a member of the Uzumaki clan. Hello, my name is Karen Uzumaki. What's yours? She shook her head at the ridiculous idea. No, I can't just walk over there like that, she thought with a frown, knowing her master had put his trust in her not to fail. Karen's mood worsened when she remembered her mother, her pale face, her beautiful red hair slowly losing its color as if they were dying, when she remembered the bite marks on her mother's arms, her red eyes, her hollow cheeks, and now the same thing was happening to her. But Orochimaru-sama saved me. I owe it to him, she told herself, unsure who she was trying to convince. In a corner, a certain Iowa shinobi was looking at Naruto. Kurotsuchi looked at the Uzumaki with narrowed eyes. She had noticed his blonde hair almost immediately. While having that shade of hair wasn't uncommon, his face was way too similar to Minato Namikaze. She had seen many pictures of the man. Her own grandpa had described the man to her as a literal demon who would do everything to protect the people he loved. You're way too similar to him. If you are who I think that you are, I will personally get revenge for what your father did to us, for the countless families he destroyed, she thought with clenched teeth, allowing a bit of kai to leak from her, causing her teammates to step back from her in fear. Naruto saw the guy with glasses slowly walking towards them. Much to his surprise, he had a Konoha emblem on his forehead. You should try to be quiet, you are drawing too much attention to yourselves, the guy announced, smirking at them. The others saw that everyone was indeed looking at them, except Naruto and few, who could feel them. And you are? Sasuke asked with a hint of annoyance, not liking the smirk on his face. My name is Kabuto Yakushi. As you have noticed, there are quite a few outstanding teams this year, and even better candidates, he stated, raising his arms. That took the attention of everyone in the room. Almost everyone leaned closer to listen. Kabuto, you say, I don't think I have ever seen you before, Naruto said suspiciously. Well, you see, I don't really like that much to be in the spotlight, he replied, rubbing his neck nervously. Then why are you talking with us? Right now, you're in the center of the spotlight, Naruto retorted, taking a step closer, causing Kabuto to pale slightly. You just remind me of my old team, and since you're so young, I thought a few hints on how to complete the exams were needed, Kabuto quickly answered, feeling as if Naruto was interrogating him, and it didn't help that Naruto was leaking a bit of his kai. Why? How many times have you been in Chunin exams? Sakura asked since, from his words, it must mean that he had been in Chunin exams before. This is my 7th time, actually. This caught almost everyone by surprise. Sakura felt even more insecure, but she quickly remembered that Sasuke was on her team. He would easily defeat everyone. Hinata slightly lowered her head. What will father do if I fail? She asked herself, knowing her father wasn't really proud of her, many times comparing her to Hanabi. Hanabi is 5 years younger than you, but she's twice the shinobi that you are. Hanabi is already using Gentle Fist. It took you until you reached 12 years old to be able to do it. Her father's words ringed in her ears like bells, piercing her heart like a knife. Why can't I be more like Hanabi? She questioned herself, feeling more insecure with each passing second. If I had only been more like her. Suddenly she felt a hand on her shoulder, making her escape her thoughts, turning to see Shino. Don't worry, Hinata, you're stronger than you think, he said as if he somehow knew what Hinata was thinking, and was trying to encourage her to keep moving forward. Hinata smiled in appreciation and turned to look at Kabuto with resolve in her eyes. Shino's right, I should be more determined, she thought with a little smile. Wow, you must really suck, Kiba mocked him, pointing his index finger at him. Oh, the exams are just that hard, Naruto retorted, but couldn't help but feel the malice coming from him. His chakra level was high jonin, and he smelled of snakes. The blonde knew only one person that sometimes smelled like that. You said you could help us, how would you do that? Ino asked with a skeptical look, hoping for any advantage. And you're asking the guy who lost 6 times for help, Shikamaru said sarcastically, earning a glare from Ino. Kabuto ignored the pineapple hat and pulled out cards from his pocket. The cards were blank, showing them to the Konoha teams. With these. What are these? Sasuke asked, looking interested. Perhaps this guy wasn't a complete waste of oxygen and time. These are ninja info cards. If I add chakra, it will reveal to me every information I have gathered throughout the years, and about the teams participating this year. Making the card on his finger shows a bunch of hidden village symbols with numbers near them. What is this list? Sakura asked. This shows how many teams are from each village. There are 9 Konoha teams, 1 Suna team, 2 Sound teams, 1 Iwa team, 3 Rain village teams, 2 Kumo teams, and several teams from minor villages, Kabuto said. That's quite a lot of information you have, Naruto said with a hidden meaning that Kabuto quickly noticed. What can the other cards do? Shikamaru was finding this whole thing troublesome and suspicious. In basic terms, they're cards with information burned into them using my chakra. I've gathered information on this exam for the past 4 years. Meaning I have got a lot of information on many different people and places, stated Kabuto, then explaining what the Chunin exam was all about. Once Kabuto had finished explaining what the exam was about, Sasuke decided to ask a question. You say that you've information on a lot of different people. Does that mean you've information on the combatants in this exam? Yes, I do. Is there someone you're interested in? Asked the boy, with a ghost of a smirk. Sasuke just nodded. Now tell me what you can about these people you're interested in, and I'll look them up for you, said Kabuto slyly. Gar of Hidden Sand, Rock Lee of Hidden Leaf, and Naruto Uzumaki of Hidden Leaf, spoke Sasuke. At hearing this, Naruto looked at Sasuke with a bit of surprise, since he could understand why he was interested in Gar, given Kakashi had warned him about him, as well as Lee. This caused Yujito and her team to walk closer. She approached and stood close to Naruto, who noticed her well-developed body, especially. Hello Yugi-chan, couldn't help yourself, Naruto said, smiling deviously with a warm tone. You know, I'm quite curious for my own sake, she replied with a lick of her lips and swaying her hips slightly, something Kiba immediately noticed. What is your name, beautiful chick? How about you spend time with an alpha instead of this pathetic loser? Kiba walked closer, his arms spread out and his chest high. This caused Naruto to snicker slightly when Kiba turned to Naruto, looking at him with narrowed eyes. Any problems, sunflower? Kiba asked, trying to sound intimidating. Nothing, dog breath, but I remember you got knocked out with a single hit by this loser, Naruto replied shyly. Yujito giggled slightly from the red face of Kiba, who was clenching his teeth and glaring at Naruto. Do you have any information? Sasuke suddenly demanded, looking at Kabuto. You know their names, then this will be easy, replied Kabuto, where he took out 4 cards from his deck, and then channeled chakra into it. After which, a small puff of smoke came from the card, where a profile and picture of Lee appeared on the card. Let's start with Rock Lee, said Kabuto. Now he is 1 year older than you. He has done 20 D rank missions and 11 C rank missions. He's Team Sensei in Mido Guy. He has extremely high hand-to-hand combat skills, but all his other skills are terrible. Last year, he gained much attention as a highly skilled rookie genin, but didn't take the Chunin exam. Like you, this is his first time taking the exam. His teammates are last year's top Kunoichi Tenten, and last year's Rookie of the Year Hyuga Neji, who is rumored to be a highly gifted prodigy like yourself. At the mention of Neji's name, a worried look appeared on Hinata's face, although no one noticed it except Shino. Next Sabaku no Gar of the Sand, spoke Kabuto, and he got another card and channeled chakra into it. Now he is the same age as you and has done 8 C rank missions, and, this is amazing, he has done a B rank mission as a genin, said a surprised Kabuto. This caught quite a few by surprise. Except for Yujito, Fuu, Naruto, and Samui, who knew never to underestimate a Jinchuriki. But it is said that he never received as much of a scratch from any of his missions. Teammates are Conqueror and Temari. Kabuto finished taking everyone by surprise. Naruto had to give it to Gar. That must be Shukaku's ultimate defense that Kurama had told him about. Kabuto pulled the 4th letter. Now, Naruto Uzumaki has completed 53 D rank missions, 6 C rank missions, 1 A rank mission, and 1 S rank mission, he said, earning gasps from everyone. Samui looked at Naruto with interest. It seemed their Kage had an excellent reason to be interested in him. What are you hiding, and who are you? She thought with a finger on her chin, knowing several ways to extract information from Naruto, and it helped that the blonde was very hot. Naruto figured that when he executed Mizuki, that counted as S rank. His specialty is Fuinjutsu, Kenjutsu, Taijutsu, and Ninjutsu. He only sucks at Genjutsu. Naruto narrowed his eyes dangerously. Does he know? The blonde asked himself. He's good at wind-style jutsus, and he also knows a few fire jutsus. His teammates are Shikamaru Nara and Ino Yamanaka. Kabuto finished. Naruto stopped his kai when he understood that Kabuto didn't know about his Hiroshin. That's quite useful information you have there, Kabuto. If I didn't know any better, I would say you're an excellent spy, Naruto said suddenly in front of Kabuto, with his hand on his shoulder. Kabuto was caught off guard by his speed. When did he get to me? He thought and saw that everyone was looking at him with suspicion. Would you mind giving me information? Naruto asked with a calm but threatening tone, releasing his kai. His grip on his shoulder tightened. Kabuto suppressed a wince of pain. Sure. With the way the Uzumaki was looking at him, almost as if he already knew who he was, and was prepared to cut his head off at any moment. I want information in a red hair with glasses and is from Hidden Sound Village, Naruto demanded. Kabuto felt like a prisoner right now. He felt his whole body sweat. Why is he so strong? He grabbed the 8th card. Karen Uzumaki, she has completed 9 D missions, 2 C missions, and 1 B mission. Her specialty is healing, and that's it, he said, releasing a sigh of relief when the blonde let go of his shoulder. Naruto's eyes went to Karen, and he wondered why she was suddenly looking away from him. Before anyone could say anything else, a large explosion happened in front of the class, revealing a man standing almost 2 meters tall. Alright, worthless maggots, playtime is over. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.